The public hearing scheduled for 6:55 p.m. will come to order. Clerk, call the roll.
Mr. Ricketts.
Here.
Mr. Rigsby.
Here.
Mrs. Tackett.
Here.
Mr. Wallace.
Here.
Mr. Rue.
Has proper legal notice been given for this hearing?
Notice of a public hearing for the purpose of considering the vacation of the first alley east of South Yellow Spring Street from West Clark Street south to the first east-west intersecting alley was published in the Springfield News-Sun as newspaper of general circulation within the city. Attached hereto are true and correct copies of the legal notices published on February 13th, 2026 and February 20th, 2026.
I move that the communication be ordered, received, and recorded in the minutes and filed. Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Clerk, call the roll.
Mr. Ricketts.
Yes.
Mr. Rigsby.
Yes.
Mrs. Tackett.
Yes.
Mr. Wallace.
Yes.
May we have the staff report?
Good evening, everyone. The applicant here wishes to vacate the 16.5 feet wide public alley between the two parcels as shown on slide and consolidate the surrounding parcels to prepare land for future development. This alley is part of a subdivision plat, and the vacated alley will be divided equally and deeded to adjoining property owners. The adjacent parcels are under the same ownership. There are a few notes from city staff. Unimproved public alleyways are to be maintained by adjoining property owners and each owner maintaining portion of alley that runs till the middle of the alley. The requested alley is unimproved and partially overgrown with trees. Return reports from utility companies. Columbia Gas has commented that it does not have any facilities in the vacation listed. Ohio Edison has commented that it has overhead primary facilities in this right-of-way, which may include direct service lines for customers in immediate area. Approval conditional upon securing easement rights in maintaining occupation and access. Proper clearances must be maintained to these facilities in adherence to NESC and OSHA regulations. Written reports from city staff state no objections and recommend approval. City Planning and Zoning Division has commented that the recommendation of approval is with condition. Utility easement rights are to be retained and alleys cannot be blocked off as it needs to remain open for easement access. No structures, sheds, garages, and pools can be built on required utility easements, and it will be the owner's responsibility to locate any easements before new construction. That is all. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any comments from the commissioners?
Have we received any objections from any of the surrounding properties or neighbors?
No objections received till date.
Thank you.
Are there any comments from the audience? Is there a motion to adjourn the hearing?
So moved. Second.
Clerk, call the roll.
Mr. Ricketts.
Yes.
Mr. Rigsby.
Yes.
Mrs. Tackett.
Yes.
Mr. Wallace.
Yes.
This month, we're proud to recognize March as Women's History Month here in Springfield and to celebrate the incredible impact they have on our community every day. The first Friday of March kicked off Women's Month with the 8th Annual International Women's Day celebration. Thank you to everyone who helped organize this event and who all attended. We have a proclamation to share this evening in regards to Women's History Month. Whereas March is recognized nationally and internationally as Women's History Month, a time to celebrate the achievements, leadership, and lasting contributions of women throughout history in our communities today. And whereas International Women's Day, observed annually on March 8th, highlights the social, economic, cultural, and civic impact of women across the globe. And whereas the City of Springfield proudly recognizes the women of Springfield and Clark County whose leadership, innovation, and service strengthen our neighborhoods, businesses, public institutions, and civic life. And whereas women across Springfield and Clark County serve as entrepreneurs, nonprofit leaders, educators, healthcare professionals, elected officials, public servants, mentors, and volunteers, helping to shape a vibrant and resilient community. And whereas women-owned businesses are a vital component of Springfield's local economy, creating jobs, expanding opportunity, fostering innovation, and contributing to the character and vibrancy of our city. And whereas the City of Springfield remains committed to supporting women leaders and entrepreneurs through partnerships, small business development programs, and initiatives that promote inclusive economic growth and long-term prosperity. Now, therefore, I, Rob Rue, Mayor of the City of Springfield, Ohio, and President of the City Commission, do hereby proclaim March 2026 as Women's History Month in the City of Springfield, encouraging all citizens to celebrate and honor the women whose leadership, dedication, and entrepreneurial spirit continue to move our community forward. While we honor women everywhere for their contributions this month, it's important to shine a spotlight on the remarkable women in Springfield who are leading, building, growing businesses in our community. By doing so, we are truly catching the spirit of Springfield. I want to recognize two trailblazing leaders, Jill Allen, the City of Springfield's first female law director, and Allison Elliott, Springfield's first female police chief. Their achievements significantly impact our community. We also want to acknowledge the important efforts of Reggie Troutman, Karen Graves, and Cassie Scott for their commitment to supporting women-owned businesses through their roles at the City of Springfield. Additionally, we want to recognize all the dedicated female workers of the City of Springfield for their invaluable contributions. We are fortunate to have a number of women business owners with us this evening. Thank you for choosing Springfield, for investing in our neighborhoods, enriching our community, and helping drive our local economy forward. I would like to invite each of you to come to the podium on this end or that end and briefly introduce yourself, just your name and business, so we can recognize you, please. Let's go, girls. Come on. It's your night. Come on, girls. Let's get up here. Ma'am, please start.
My name is Shawanta Bishop, and I own Bishop's Cleaning Service.
Thank you for being here.
Mary Johnston, Reimagine Gifts and More.
Thank you.
Valerie Block, Building Block Play Studio.
Sarah King, Buckeye Towing and Recovery.
Brittany Crabtree, Rose City Wellness Massage Therapy.
Annette Evans with the Cardiac Bear.
Liliana Villanueva, Viva La Fiesta.
Grace Brown, Brown's Cafe, 1010 North Murray Street.
Good evening, everybody. Nettie Carter Smith, DJ Divas, DJ and photo booth, Core 4 Soul Kitchen, Core 4 Connection, Bass Smith Connection, a nonprofit, and I would be remiss if I did not recognize my sidekick and best friend, Sana Bass, who's also part of that as well.
Thank you.
Patty Young, the owner of Young Here Incorporated.
Patty, how many years have you been in business?
My age.
Do it, girl.
I've been in business 55 years.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all. It's truly inspiring to see the range of businesses and leadership represented here. We're proud you've chosen to call Springfield home. I'd like to invite all of you to come up and join us for a group photo with the commissioners.
Pass it around.
Thank you again for being here and for everything you do for Springfield. We're proud to support your continued success. For anyone interested in starting a business or looking for resources, our economic development team is here to help. Please visit the economic development page on our website for more information and contact details. You can reach us at springfieldohio.gov. Thank you. The informal meeting of the City Commission is called to order. Clerk, call the roll.
Mr. Ricketts?
Here.
Mr. Rigsby?
Here.
Mrs. Tackett?
Here.
Mr. Wallace?
Here.
Mr. Rue?
If anyone in the audience would like to address the commission, you need to complete a comment card and hand it to the clerk. There is a 3-minute limit per person. The City Commission remains committed to creating a conducive environment for constructive and productive dialogue and engagement for the community. Those wishing to speak must fill out a public comment card and provide their name and address for the record. A state-issued ID or driver's license must be provided when filling out a card, and only those residing within Springfield and Clark County will be permitted to speak during the public comment period. Comment cards will be accepted up to 15 minutes after the start of the formal legislative meeting. Those who are determined to have provided false information on the card will not be permitted to speak at this meeting, as well as the next regularly scheduled City Commission meeting. We are truly committed to making the meeting an environment where people have the opportunity to share their ideas, thoughts, and concerns. While we fully respect the First Amendment rights of all individuals, disruptions or any conduct that impedes the orderly progress of the meeting will not be tolerated. Should any individual be escorted or asked to leave due to disruptive behavior on 3 separate occasions, They will be notified that they are considered trespassed and barred from attending any further city commission meetings. As a reminder, the citizen participation guidelines allows comments on the legislative agenda items. Each citizen may comment on up to 3 agenda items per meeting, with a total speaking time of 3 minutes for all agenda items. We have 4 cards. Mr. Gary Armstrong.
My friends tell me not to come down, that I just look like an old. I say, you know what? The old part's right. But I come down because I've seen my absentee guy tonight that I really wanted to throw some things at. Because when he threw at me that I make statements and that we all have free speech, I said, yeah, free speech. But I never disperse or go down on anybody with a statement that I think is mean or not accurate. So that means I think it's accurate and I think you are deserving of it. And the same thing, his replies can be a rebuttal of what I said. But if it isn't the truth, there is penalty if you're under oath and we're in a courtroom. And things that have gone down, and I dug this old newspaper out, September 3rd of 23, when Honest Abe O'Neill got up and said, well, we need to, leader asked for audit in hotel purchase. No, you needed to ask who the staff was that violated many ethical and what I consider illegal things to purchase those. And you know, when people can't speak the truth, I find it very discerning because I like to be very honest when I'm speaking to. And I'm sure there's somebody who can go back 50 years and say that I told a lie, and I probably did. But for the last 50 years, I don't say too many lies. This guy doesn't really care that's elected. He says he's serving the people. And now we were down here and you have this data thing and you had your people saying how good it is. And that we only use a little, because Melissa Resbrough brought it up and, it's not going to affect, we got plenty of water. It's going to kick all our butts. All our butts. And across the nation, everybody else is going against it. And I would like to see everybody in this town go, the rich are just going to dig deeper. I have a $600 Columbia gas bill this month on my fixed income. And I know other people, and I know the tax rates for the houses went up. I'm disputing mine. But I see one of the mayor's properties went down $400 and mine went up times 10. You know, these are things that affect us, the citizens, and he says he's helping them. You had a temporary fix for homeless for 6 months to use $6 million almost, but it was temporary based on the manager's statements. Temporary. I went, is that legal? A friend of mine was lecturing me and said, yeah, if you go into the guidelines, there's a time frame and they can maneuver. Well, that's called being not very upfront. We wanted it temporary. Well, you told us it was permanent, that we were going to help the homeless. We haven't helped them for 3 years. Thank you.
Thank you. Miss Diana Daniels.
$1988 was a very interesting year. I had spent 2 years in Dallas, Texas, teaching at the Hockaday School, and decided that I needed to make a move and was recruited to come to Wittenberg. I spent 2 years at Wittenberg, and it didn't turn out the way I wanted it to, but that was all right because I was in Springfield, Ohio. And Springfield, Ohio, at that time in 1988, 89, 90, was a pretty interesting place to live. It looked an awful lot like where I grew up. It was enough of an industrial town that you could recognize those roots, but it was also nestled in miles and miles and acres of green land and parks and places to play and run and ride my bike. They were also close enough to metropolitan areas like Columbus and Dayton that if I wanted the big city life, like I experienced in Dallas, Texas, which I didn't like, by the way, too fast, that I could, 20 minutes, half an hour, be in those locations. And of course, things changed a little bit in Springfield, and we got the Chris Center, and I didn't have to travel all the way to Columbus to see a good theater, to watch hear a good concert. That was 1988. Things started to change in 2002, 2003, when the city needed to change their community schools. And I understood why, because I was at Emerson. Oh my God, that was an oil boiler, and let me tell you how hard that was to light at 5:30 in the morning. But we lost our community schools when we started to build new ones, and that's when things started to change. We had the mall, and I saw what the mall did to downtown, and we've been making attempts to rectify that situation by trying to restore some of our old buildings. Some of it has been good, and some of it not so good. Then there was another major change, and that was 2020 with the pandemic. But what it brought out in me was an inquisitiveness that I needed to know more about what city government was doing, because I didn't exactly like what I was seeing. That we were investing our money in places where we shouldn't be. We were leaving our central core, Emerson, where I taught my first 12 years, the most exciting years of my life. We were failing the south end of Springfield, and we were putting our eggs in one basket, which was to grow Springfield at the expense of those neighborhoods that I spent 12 of the best years of my life at. We need to refocus our direction and look more closely at those neighborhoods, which I dearly loved, and get them back to where they were. And I'd just like to say, some of you have misjudged me. I love this city. In 2019, I went home from my first class reunion, and I took 2 baskets of stuff from Springfield. I was so proud of this city. I'm not anymore. But I think we can make some changes and get back to where we were. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you, Diane. Jean Barnett.
Good evening, Vice Mayor, City Commissioners, and City Manager. I would like to endorse another site for the proposed new jail. Eastworks was opened in 1882 as the second largest building in the world. It's now called the Cooper Energy Site between East Street, Kenton Street, and Birch Street. This zoned area is over 27 acres and has been vacant with decaying buildings for over 30 years. This nearly centrally located land right off of East High Street needs cleaned up and redeveloped. It already has water, sewer, electrical, and gas lines. It has sidewalks with curbs and access from 4 different directions on 4 well-paved roads. No problems with severe weather or multi-car accidents or interstate chemical spills to prevent access to and from the jail. And Cooper Energy is close to the courthouse. Land acquisition and contingency funds total $6.4 million. That could be used for soil environmental assessment, cleanup of hazardous materials, and demolition of existing vacant buildings. The 185-bed jail currently has 220 inmates. I do not think we need a $100,454 mega jail when crime rates have been coming down the last 4 years. This is too large for Springfield. 300 beds would give us 80 empty cells currently. Columbus, Ohio is near 1 million people, and their jail only has 1,285 beds. $26 million could be saved with the Cooper Energy location. And currently, we are losing 2,000 acres of farmland a day for concrete and asphalt development. And what about local farmers and residents and their property rights? The example I'm using is Sloopy Solar Project that offered stability and farmland conservation because farmers can remove their solar panels after 20 years. They have an opportunity for the soil to recover after being seeded with pollinated ground cover. These visionary farmers had their project voted down because residents said the farmland would be lost. This wasn't true, but now the situation seems reversed for local residents in their neighborhood south of I-70 who shall lose their farmland forever to build a 100,140,000 square foot concrete jail with many additional acres of parking. 78% of voters said no to this regressive sales tax, and I'm afraid a 454 bed could be used by ICE agents to jail people of color with racial profiling and holding them until deportation, much like Butler County is doing now.
Thank you,
Thank
Gene.
you.
Andrew Dybert.
How are we all doing this evening? Thank you, city commissioners and everybody. I'd also like to put a thank you to Brian Heck. He's been working very personally with me with something that I feel is very necessary for all of us to hear. I know we've all been through a lot these last many years, and I love the energy here tonight. We came in, we were all welcoming the women for their business and just everything they brought to the community. And it's good to see because truthfully, I was very nervous about what I'm about to talk about. And that is, I'm a victim of somebody who ran a stop sign that literally just shouldn't have been in the road. He had already ran a stop sign in Shelby County. Months before, prior to this, he was working at Honda. Yes, he was a TPS status individual, but I want to make it very clear to everyone here that should not make a difference. Your color, your race, your religion, any of it. Public safety is about all of us. President Trump and J.D. Vance, I have very mixed emotions towards. They made comments about cat and dogs, and no offense to everybody, but we all know the truth. They won their votes in the positions they hold now off of our city, off of our suffering. And we will not go silent anymore. I am proud of people who spoke up against the data centers. Nature and life must be respected over money, above all else, and it's what all Americans need to learn, and including our government. Now, I've had a lot of people talk. I've heard a lot of stories, and I've listened as I've had the time. I've been stuck at home. I received an aortic aneurysm and a swollen spleen I did not have before my accident. I already did have a bad spinal injury, and now it's so bad I've barely been able to get out of my home. I am tired of not having proper medical care. I am tired of feeling helpless all the time because I do not like to accept help. I like to just do it myself and help others. I have tried to help nature for a very long time because I'm a 3-time felon who has served my time and tried to do better. I had a job, I had an income, and unfortunately, due to the accident, I no longer can. So I'm going to read to you today a letter I wrote to the Supreme Court Justice, because for all the politicians in this country, especially DeWine, Trump, and anyone else that had something to say about the cats and dogs in our city and continues to, I want to make something very loud and clear. We are tired. We are tired of the pointing fingers. We are tired of the blame. We are tired of the violence. We are tired. Our city, everyone, even including the president in his inaugural address, said we were destroyed, overwhelmed, and everybody knows the city, unfortunately, these poor bastards, no offense, but Brian had his own family threatened, his children. How dare any of you? When months and months, for years before the immigration issues, people around this country and nation spoke out against.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you for being here.
Can I ask that I might be able to speak after this when everybody speaks? I did not get a chance to read my letter or address the victims who else tried to reach out to me with recent posts on Facebook. If my
I'm sorry,
community wouldn't
it's
allow
3
it.
minutes for everyone. I'm sorry. Are there any comments from the commissioners? City Manager Heck, any comments? Is there a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second.
Clerk, call the roll.
Mr. Ricketts?
Yes.
Mr. Rigsby?
Yes.
Mrs. Tackett?
Yes.
Mr. Wallace?
Yes.
Meeting is adjourned. The formal meeting of the City Commission is called to order. Clerk, call the roll.
Mr. Ricketts?
Here.
Mr. Rigsby?
Here.
Mrs. Tackett?
Here.
Mr. Wallace?
Here.
Mr. Rue?
Before we begin, let's take a moment to reflect on the responsibility we all share to serve our community with integrity, respect, and a commitment to the greater good. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty, justice for all.
Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Clerk, call the roll.
Mr. Ricketts?
Yes.
Mr. Rigsby?
Yes.
Mrs. Tackett?
Yes.
Mr. Wallace?
Yes.
Clerk, proceed with the first readings by title only.
Vacating the first alley east of South Yellow Spring Street from West Clark Street south to the first east-west intersecting alley. Authorizing the city manager to enter into Amendment C to the engineering services agreement with Black & Veatch Corporation for the Erie Express Pump Station Pretreatment Facility Project to increase the agreement in an amount not to exceed $492,455 for a total agreement amount not to exceed $1,715,762. Authorizing participation in the 2026-2027 ODOT winter contract for road salt. Authorizing and directing the city manager to select certain identified parcels of real estate that constitute non-productive land and to notify the prosecuting attorney or the county auditor of Clark County, Ohio, as the case may be, pursuant to sections 5722.03 and 5722.04 of the Ohio Revised Code, that the city wishes to acquire said parcels pursuant to the provisions of Ohio Revised Code Chapter 5722 and Ordinance Number 98-293, passed August 25th, 1998, and to do all things necessary to acquire said parcels. Authorizing the purchase of one KE Rose Snow and Ice package for truck number 545 of the newest model year available for an amount not to exceed $162,200 from Rush Truck Centers through the Ohio Department of Transportation Cooperative Purchasing Program in accordance with the provisions of Section 5513.01B of the Ohio Revised Code. Authorizing the purchase of one KE Rose Snow and Ice package for truck number 347 of the newest model year available for an amount not to exceed $176,800 from Rush Truck Centers through the Ohio Department of Transportation Cooperative Purchasing Program in accordance with the provisions of Section 5513.01B of the Ohio Revised Code. Authorizing the purchase of one Ford F-550 of the newest model year available from Rush Truck Centers for an amount not to exceed $133,353.60 through Sourcewell pursuant to the Sourcewell Contract Purchasing Cooperative Program in accordance with the provisions of Section 9.48 of the Ohio Revised Code. Authorizing the purchase of one HX520 SFA sewer vac truck of the newest model year available from Rush Truck Centers for an amount not to exceed $885,510 through Sourcewell pursuant to the Sourcewell Contract Purchasing Cooperative Program in accordance with the provisions of Section 9.48 of the Ohio Revised Code. Authorizing the purchase of one HV507 SFA salt truck of the newest model year available for an amount not to exceed $263,951.65 from Rush Truck Centers through the Ohio Department of Transportation Cooperative Purchasing Program in accordance with the provisions of Section 5513.01B of the Ohio Revised Code. Authorizing the purchase of one Ford F-550 4x4 gas chassis of the newest model year available with remount services from Fraser Limited for an amount not to exceed $228,125 plus trade-in credit of $1,000 for a net purchase amount not to exceed $227,125 through the HGAC Cooperative Purchasing Program in accordance with the provisions of Section 9.48 of the Ohio Revised Code.
City Manager Heck, would you like to comment on any of the readings?
Yes, so starting with 089-26, I know we don't want to think about next winter, but this is the time to get in and participate with ODOT's winter contract for road salt. So this puts us in line. This has been a program for a number of years now when there were issues with communities procuring the road salt, and we're able to work under ODOT's bid to get us the most efficient and effective bid for this road salt purchase for our community and other communities you see take advantage of this across the state. I also want to call attention to 090-26. This is utilizing the land reutilization program to take in parcels that have been tax foreclosed on and not purchased. And so what this specific program relates to is our Mow to Own program. So this is 6 additional parcels of land that we're able to make available to those that fit the criteria of the requirements for Mow to Own. And I'm proud to say since 2016, when this program started, we've had 228 parcels that we've been able to work through the Mow to Own program, and they are put back into productive use by the neighbors that live by these vacant properties. The next several items, the rest of the first readings all relate to purchases of vehicles and upfitting of trucks. These were all items included in the 2026 budget, and we're getting to the purchase of those now. The first 2 are cabin chassis that have been sitting waiting for us to be able to get in line for the snow and ice package to be able to be added to those. The first one is a sewer vehicle, and then the second one is for our street division. The new Ford F-550 is a small dump. I will say this is the total package for snow and ice too, so we won't have a period of time of waiting for it to be upfitted. This is also for the street division. And then we have the purchase of the sewer vac truck. This is an international vehicle, replaces our current recycler truck, and within that sewer division. And then we also have another salt truck, the HV 507. Again, this is a full-size plow truck, and this includes all of the upfitting and is for the street division as another international vehicle. And then the final one was the purchase of a Ford F-550 4x4 gas chassis. This is as we are looking, our medic units that have been replaced, now we're getting in the cycle of rechassing those. So we're able to take the box off and put them on a new cabin chassis. And we were able to do this several different times, which cuts the cost down versus buying a completely new medic unit. We're able to still utilize that box and put it on a new cabin chassis. And I will say we've been working with fire and our fleet division have been working collaboratively on finding the right cabin chassis that works perfect for the size and the weight of the box that we currently utilize.
Any comments from the commissioners? Okay. From the audience? Yes, sir.
Since our neighborhoods are falling down and we've deliberately let them fall down, don't you think we get more medic units and police units into these ghetto areas now, and that we wouldn't have to worry about the longevity because they got to go out constantly in those neighborhoods? I think that's part of it.
Thank you. Any other comments? Clerk, proceed with second readings and emergencies.
Amending the Melody Parks Plan Development for 4.09, start over. Amending the Melody Parks Plan Development for 409.3 acres located at 4025 East National Road, Springfield, Ohio.
Are there any comments or questions from the commissioners?
I think we need a motion and a second
So
first.
moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Clerk, call the roll. No.
No.
Thanks.
Now comments.
Now comments. Are there any questions from the commission? From the audience? Clerk, call the roll.
Mr. Ricketts,
Yes.
Mr. Rigsby?
Yes.
Mrs. Tackett?
Yes.
Mr. Wallace?
Yes.
Confirming and approving amendment number 3 to the grant agreement with the Federal Transit Administration to increase grant funding in an amount not to exceed $300,000 for operating assistance, authorizing an additional local matching expenditure in an amount not to exceed $300,000, authorizing the city manager, law director, and the director of finance to perform all acts and execute all documents they consider necessary to fulfill the city's obligations under said grant amendment, and to comply with all relevant local, state, and federal legal requirements, and confirming and approving all related expenditures incurred from December 1, 2025.
Have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Are there any questions from the commission?
Brian, can you just touch on this just a little bit?
Yeah, this is our annual FTA funding as it relates to the operation of our public transportation system. And so each year we are able to allocate and appropriate the $300,000 for operations of that system. Again, 80% of our public transportation system is funded at the federal level. And so this specifically applies to field trips, the microtransit service that is offered inside the city.
Other questions? Questions from the audience? Please go to the mic, sir.
Me. What is going to be the safety and security for hiring the drivers to make sure that people getting transported around are safe? Because if you actually look at most of the overall, it's 50-50. 50% of people online are commenting, it's perfect, it's good, they're liking it, it's working. The other half, they're concerned with safety. So can we please get a more detailed answer on exactly how we're going to, or how the city is going to make sure and oversight this company to make sure that the drivers they hire are indeed safe for all of them? Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Transportation system. I thought we did away with the bus. What transportation system are there? And to address what he just said, in the last 5 years, I've coming out onto Ward, onto North Limestone near the Hickory. I check out these women holding their phones out, driving a school bus. So having qualified people that can stay off their phone makes sense.
As this relates, this is, yes, we no longer have the large-scale buses that are operating. This is the field trip system, so they're the vans that many communities the size of Springfield has started transitioning to what's called a microtransit model or an on-demand service model. Think of it almost like an Uber-type system. As far as the employment, I know Via Transportation has a pretty rigorous application background check to require drivers to go through that before they hire those drivers. But the company is vetting those and so forth. And I know Jason Bai, Deputy Director of Public Safety and Operations, works very closely with VIA, and any of the issues, concerns that he's heard in the community, he is making sure that they're aware of those and trying to address those. And I know they've had to fire drivers, they've had to retrain drivers and so forth. So I know those comments and that feedback is getting back to them, and they are taking it very seriously.
Diane?
I was under the assumption, and maybe that's probably my fault, assume you make a, what out of you and everybody else around you. 300,000, is that what we're paying to
operate the public transportation system? It's actually more than that on an annual basis. Katie, I don't know if you want to
it's
speak.
actually closer to $2 million. And as Brian mentioned, 80% of that funding is typically coming from the federal or state level.
Mm-hmm.
And actually with field trips, we've seen a decrease of roughly 7% compared to using the mass transit with buses. And we've also seen more covered by federal dollars, which saves our general fund dollars with that local match component.
Is at any point in time, are these going to become self-sufficient?
I would not believe. I mean, the whole idea around public transportation is that it is government subsidized transportation.
Okay.
And that's in communities all across the country.
Yeah, the only way to add to that financially for that to be self-sufficient would be for us to increase our rate, which then will be not sustainable to our resident.
Any other comments? Clerk, call the roll.
Mr. Rigsby,
Yes.
Mrs. Tackett,
Yes.
Mr. Ricketts,
Yes.
Mr. Wallace,
Yes.
authorizing the purchase of 2 Ford Police Interceptors of the newest model year available from National Auto Fleet Group for an amount not to exceed $105,513.12 through Sourcewell pursuant to the Sourcewell Contract Purchasing Cooperative Program in accordance with the provisions of Section 9.48 of the Ohio Revised Code.
So moved.
Second.
Are there any questions from the commission? From the audience? Clerk, call the roll.
Mrs. Tackett,
Yes.
Mr. Ricketts,
Yes.
Mr. Wallace,
Yes.
Mr. Rigsby,
Yes.
confirming and approving change order number 1 to the contract between the city and Peterson Construction Company for the Erie Express Pump Station Pretreatment Facility Project to increase the contract in an amount not to exceed $562,305 for a total amount not to exceed $8,930,305 and to extend the contract completion date to May 27, 2027, and authorizing the city manager to execute said change order number 1.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Are there any comments from the commission?
Brian, can you talk about this a little bit?
Yeah, I'll actually have Chris Moore, our service director, speak to the project in its entirety and this specific change order.
So the overarching project is to take care of a rag and grease problem we have at our Erie lift station, which sits at the end of Skinner Lane, kind of behind Wilbur Mustard. As part of that project, we included the cleaning of our digester and repairs to the dome, which when you go to our wastewater treatment plant, there's a floating dome right as you pull in the entrance. We have bid the cleaning and repair of the dome out multiple times over the years and have had no luck getting anyone to do it. So back in 2011 or 12, we included it in a larger project. The person won the larger project, so they did the undesirable one. In this case, we included the cleaning and repairs to the digester with this Erie project. And once they got the digester clean to where we could inspect everything, everybody came to terms with the fact that the 65-ish-year-old dome was beyond repair. So we looked at the allowances for the repair and looked at what it would take to replace it and made the decision that if we replace it with a modern dome, we will then be able to, in the future, bid out the cleaning and repair separate, and we will have a dome that hopefully will last us 60 years into the future.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions or comments from the commission? From the audience? Clerk, call the roll.
Mr. Ricketts,
Yes.
Mr. Wallace,
Yes.
Mr. Rigsby,
Yes.
Mrs. Tackett,
Yes. We'll move to emergency ordinances.
authorizing the exercise of the city's option to renew the contract with Gillum Lawn Care and Landscaping LLC for the mowing of boulevards for an amount not to exceed $59,591 and declaring an emergency therein.
So moved.
Second.
Are there any comments from the commission? From the audience? Clerk, call the roll.
Mr. Wallace,
Yes.
Mr. Rigsby,
Yes.
Mr. Ricketts,
Yes.
Mrs. Tackett.
Yes.
Confirming and approving change order number 4 to the contract between the city and Majors Enterprises Incorporated for the Henry Street Sewer Replacement Project to decrease the contract in an amount not to exceed $158,181 for a total amount not to exceed $1,733,645.69, and to extend the contract completion date to May 29th, 2026, authorizing the city manager to execute said change order number 4 and declaring an emergency therein.
So moved.
Second.
Are there any questions from the commissioners?
I have a comment. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I'm happy anytime there's a decrease in contract like that.
That's what I was gonna say.
158,000 is pretty substantial. Could you explain why?
Yeah, so this is a final change order for the project. There's a total of 25 items in this final change order, but the bulk of the decrease comes from pipe and manholes that did not need to be removed. That originally were planned or bid as part of the project, and they did not have to actually be removed, so the contractor didn't perform the work, so they're not paid for that.
Any other questions or comments from the commission? From the audience? Clerk, call the roll.
Mr. Rigsby,
Yes.
Mr. Wallace,
Yes.
Mrs. Tackett,
Yes.
Mr. Ricketts.
Yes.
Authorizing the exercise of the city's option to renew the geotechnical engineering services agreement with S&ME Incorporated for professional engineering services for an amount not to exceed $30,000 and declaring an emergency therein.
So moved.
Second.
Been motioned and seconded. Are there any comments or questions from the commission? From the audience? Clerk, call the roll.
Mr. Wallace,
Yes.
Mrs. Tackett,
Yes.
Mr. Ricketts,
Yes.
Mr. Rigsby.
Yes.
Authorizing the city manager to enter into a sub-grant award agreement to accept $25,780.80 through the State of Ohio Body-Worn Camera Grant Program from the Ohio Office of Criminal Justice Services, authorizing the city manager, director of finance, and law director to perform all acts and execute all documents considered necessary to fulfill the city's obligations under said sub-grant award agreement and to comply with all relevant local, state, and federal legal requirements and declaring an emergency therein.
So moved.
Second.
Been motioned and seconded. Any comments or questions from the commission? From the audience? Clerk, call the roll.
Mrs. Tackett,
Yes.
Mr. Ricketts,
Yes.
Mr. Rigsby,
Yes.
Mr. Wallace.
Yes.
Confirming purchases and the obtaining of services for the city and providing for payments therefore and declaring an emergency therein.
So moved.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded. Are there any comments or questions from the commission? From the audience? Clerk, call the roll.
Mr. Ricketts,
Yes.
Mr. Rigsby,
Yes.
Mrs. Tackett,
Yes.
Mr. Wallace.
Yes.
Emergency
Con-
resolution. Thank you.
Confirming and approving the acceptance of the material terms of the 6 remnant defendants settlement agreement pursuant to the 1 Ohio Memorandum of Understanding regarding the pursuit and use of potential opioid litigation settlement funds and consistent with the material terms of the February 3rd, 2026 6 remnant defendants settlement agreement available at nationalopioidsettlement.com and declaring an emergency therein.
So moved.
Second.
Been motioned and seconded. Any comments or questions from the commission?
Ryan, you want to?
Yeah, so this is part of the One Ohio Memorandum of Understanding. So communities throughout Ohio had the option to opt in with the state to pursue litigation as it relates to the distributors and manufacturers and so forth of opioids and, around the opioid crisis that we all experienced. There were 6 additional defendants that have been named that are pharmaceutical distributors. And so the state of Ohio will pursue settlement with these 6 defendants. And us opting into this allows us to be able to capture a portion of that because of the effects of the opioid crisis in our community.
Any other questions or comments from the commission? From the audience? Clerk, call the roll.
Mr. Rigsby,
Yes.
Mrs. Tackett,
Yes.
Mr. Wallace,
Yes.
Mr. Ricketts.
Yes.
Any new items on the agenda? Nope. Any commissioner announcements and acknowledgements?
Yes, I would like to notify the public, and sometimes I hear the public in the public comments that there's not a lot to do for our youth. So I'm offering for you guys to come out and see what goes on at the Dome. It's called the Dome Experience. It's the Old South High. We are having an open house tomorrow from 4:30 to 6, and it will show you all the things we do, from our video games, from our music studio to our welding shop, our wood shop, all of our activities. They will actually be in progress. Kids will be there as you are touring the place, the John Legend Theater, and just other resources that you may not know that the Springfield City School District is doing on a day-to-day basis, which probably averages about 140 kids a day that goes through there and participate in the activities that we provide. So 4:30 to 6 tomorrow, that's March 25th. Please come out and see what we have available for our youth right now, today. Just want you guys to come see it. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Wallace. Any other?
Yeah, I've got just a couple of things. First, I talked about last meeting, the cleanup day to be held on April 25th. It'll be a community cleanup day at 8 a.m., April 25th at West Jefferson Street behind Clark County Main Library. It's a free event for city residents to dispose of all unwanted household items, yard debris, furniture, such. Volunteers are needed to help with traffic directions, surveys, check-in, and more. If in order to volunteer, go to the springfieldohio.gov website. You have to show proof of residency if you're going to participate in the cleanup day. The second thing I have is I just wanted to take a second to talk about Clark County Parks. This is a vitally important park system for our community. 33 parks, 30 plus miles of bike trails, 13 nature preserves, over 2,100 acres. This park system is and should be the crown jewel of our city. It's critically important for all of our residents, both county and city. And just to let you guys know, we spend less per acre than almost any other city maintaining our parks. So the NTPRD, Clark County Park System, gives you about the most bang for the buck of your tax dollars of any organization running a park anywhere. So I just thought you ought to know that.
Thank you, Commissioner Rigsby.
Just quickly, the Community Beautification Committee is opening up their Adopt a Bed program. And what this is there are 30 flower beds basically in public right-of-ways, and you can adopt one. And what your part would be is that you clear and prepare the flower bed and plant the flowers that are actually starter flowers are provided to you from us, as is mulch, and the initial watering is also taken care of by the city. And you can also put add your own touch into the beds, put your own types of flowers in there. And if you're a business and you do this, you can actually put a small sign in there to promote your business as a sponsor of one of these beds. If you'll go to the city's website, there's information on there and find out how to adopt one of these beds. Thank you.
Commissioner Ricketts, thank you to the commissioners for staying engaged in the community and all that you do. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Clerk, call the roll.
Mr. Ricketts?
Yes.
Mr. Rigsby?
Yes.
Mrs. Tackett?
Yes.
Mr. Wallace?
Yes.
Meeting is adjourned. Thank you all for coming.